That's cool. Like a Bill Duke, like Bill Duke in Car Wash.
That's right.
Man, can I help you? Do you need something, bro? Remember that rap?
Man.
I seen him over so many times. It's not weird. Man, can I help? Do you need something, bro?
My brother, I'm blacker than 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 black, y'all.
You know what I'm saying? Anyway, man. Yo, hold on a second. Let me see you guys. Yeah. Hey, what's up, y'all? Here, you know what I'm saying? Hey, look at this right here. Man. Y'all did it, man. You know what I'm saying? Because it's chosen by the voters. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm talking about.
You know what I'm saying? Chosen by voters, man. That's dope. Look at that, man. Best coffee shop, man. And what's even better...
And all of Zumanda.
Zumanda. Zumanda, boy. Yes. Yeah, anyway. What's your name, brother?
I am Ivan Douglas Hicks.
Okay.
What's your name?
My name is Darrin Michael Curtis Bell Marion. Yes, Curtis Bell. That's correct.
That's too many names, man.
Yeah, man.
Is Curtis Bell all running together?
Yeah.
Curtis Bell?
Yeah, or Dash Bell.
Dash Bell.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Yes, we are many.
Yes, man. We are many.
Yes.
We're not legion, but we're just together. You know what I'm saying?
We are at Darrin's Coffee Shop,
Yeah.
which is the #1 shop in all of...
In all the world. That's 3 years in a row, y'all.
Right, 3 years going.
You know what I'm saying? That's like, that's Hall of Fame ready.
Man, look, you had to come get you a grasshopper.
Yeah.
Or an onionator.
Yeah. Well, we got to get there when, we're still waiting on people to come and, and put apply a little pressure.
Right. That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. At the best coffee shop.
Oh, yeah. We got a thumb, man. Who gave that
Right.
thumb? Oh, man, what's up, Ferris? I was talking about you the other day, man. I saw a dude, Ferris, he raises dogs.
Raises dogs. What
Yeah,
kind of
man.
dogs?
All
kinds of dogs?
Yeah, man. Yeah, beautiful dogs, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful pitch, man. Beautiful pitch. But yeah, what do you do? Like, I hate to say, what do you do? What do you do? I ask everybody, what do they do? Because you guys know what I do, kinda.
Well, they don't know everything you do.
Yeah.
They know some of they know some of the things you do.
Yeah, kinda.
Right.
There you go. Well,
I do a lot of things. I pastor a church, First Baptist Church, North Indianapolis. I am as well working with an organization called the Grindery.
You heard his voice got low when you said that?
The Grindery. We're helping businesses get up and going. And that's why I hang out down at Darrin's Coffee Shop, because it is a wonderful model for what's happening and what we need to be doing in creating enterprise, making sure we are self-determined. And as opposed to being consumers, we need to produce.
Yep.
So that we create wealth. And I was having a conversation earlier today with somebody about the difference between a job and being wealthy.
Yeah. It's freedom.
Financially secure.
Yeah, freedom.
Freedom in that.
Hang on just one second.
As opposed to me working for somebody, perhaps it's pretty good for me to employ others and to make sure that I am doing what I need to do. So, yeah, you know how Darrin is. Darrin is gone. We're here live on Facebook, and he is gone to roast some coffee that came from Zumanda.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
to make not just the grasshopper, but a mandingo
Yeah.
Ufalufu.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But it's Africa, coffee comes from Africa. So,
Right.
Anyway,
Free trade.
direct trade. Like,
Direct trade.
Yeah,
That's
man.
what I'm talking about.
There you go, man. What, y'all know that I'm very, dang, man. Y'all know I'm very passionate about entrepreneurship, man, and I believe that that's the only way, man. That's the American dream, is to be able to go somewhere and stake up your thing and say best coffee shop, and then take care of your family.
Man, that's
and build something, man. Build a legacy.
That's a humanistic dream.
That is.
But no matter where you are, you want to take care of yourself. You want to be able to do what you're placed on this earth to do,
Yeah.
which is what we do with the Vision Center,
Mm-hmm.
Northwest Vision Center, the Grindery. We start off with that, saying, look, what is it within you? What are you placed on this earth to do? Because once you figure out what you've been placed on this earth to do, then you have the ability not just to be successful, but to be fulfilled in what you do.
Yeah. I had a conversation the other day, man, with somebody, and he was like, man, I want to live my dream. And I said, well, what is your dream, man?
Yeah, define it.
Yeah, define it, man.
Define it.
You know, first thing I did when I started this, started the shop, is I wrote a letter to myself called The Why. Why I do what I do.
Right.
It's kind of to help keep me focused, and also to pull myself back in. And I think that's something. It's a miseducation. I was just having that conversation. It's miseducation. Some people in education, it's a way to solve problems is actually to have the critical thinking skills to be able to go from A to B to C to D. Miseducation is something where you know about A and B, but you don't know that there's a C out there, so you don't plan for a C, or you don't even think that a C is there. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I guess that is part of miseducation or uneducation.
Yeah.
Because if there's knowledge that's available and it's withheld, that's inequitous.
Yeah.
So a lot of things we do have to deal with equity and education, start from the shoulders, kids. And truth of the matter is, a number of us that think we know it all because we have low age on us need to go back and crack some of these books and reconsider some things so that we're, in a position to help in times like these, man. There's crazy times we're living in. We're going to have to band together, and we're going to have to do some things more than just getting a job.
Yeah.
Because everybody, right now, look, what's going on? You need a job, and you need some on the side that allows you to do something probably with your hands and to create so that you can supplement, because times are getting tough.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I call that with intellectual capital. That's what we think. We talked about that before. Is when we are able to share knowledge. And I hate to sound like Ty Lopez on that. When we're able to share knowledge, that actually moves. That prevents you from having to bump your head in an area that I've already had to bump mine.
Right.
You know,
no need for me to make all the mistakes when other people have made mistakes and I can learn from them.
There you go, man. A lot of that stuff's in a book. A lot of it's in a book, and or a magazine even.
Right. Or in a conversation about something intellectual, so that there's actually some exchange and you consider other people's opinions and views, and that's how you grow.
Yeah.
But it's a pursuit. It doesn't just happen.
The scholarship.
Scholarship. There you go.
Yeah, man.
That's one of the things you used to learn. We taught you about down there in Louisiana. I know you bringing up principles and stuff. I got you. I got you. You just threw it in there.
That's just scholarship, man. Is just that's just something we all need to practice, man. Is to continue to grow, because that's how you stay interested in life. Is because things always change, man. Things are always. Go ahead.
Yeah, and we say lifelong learners. And just look at what's going on now. I mean, it was cloud, and then we got OI. Was an IoT and got SEO, and no telling what is not next, but what's now that we don't know about. And that's the thing, we have to stay up. We got to stay up on stuff like that. Yeah. In a technology world, but even with current events, with what's happening, I mean, a number of people are dealing with so much life and dealing with so much hustle and bustle, just trying to survive, that they don't have a chance to
see that the answer might be there.
Right. And right in front of their face. If they look up beyond the painful condition, then there are possibilities.
So we know that people exist in painful conditions. Is there something that can be done to help people out of that painful condition? I know prayer, but what's the actual work?
Well, I mean,
I think you're someone that's uniquely qualified to answer that question.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I would say so.
I mean, all I can do is give you examples, perhaps, of things that we're doing that seek to improve people's life chances and life possibilities. But I think the biggest thing is the mantra really that emerged for me. We put some things out during Ferguson was by all means available. You know, we can't say that this is the approach. We have to have a holistic, comprehensive approach to everything. And different people have different gifts and different.
That's a different way to say it, by all means available.
By all means available.
Instead of by any means necessary. I would say that was an interesting way to say it.
That's postmodern.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that is.
See, protest has to be different in 2017 than it was 60 years ago. And so, you know, we don't have to throw out everything, but we build upon it and say, look, and by all means available, let me tell you about that. By all means available. Best coffee shop. This is what we do. We sit around in the best coffee shop.
There you go, man. And we discuss what's all means available.
By all means available, you know, it means that as opposed to allowing the media or allowing the counterculture to determine for us the approach or the leadership when it comes to our progress. You can't tell me who my leader is. You can't tell me that somebody's approach is. No, we need to pursue the liberation of oppressed people by all means available.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
and if we have a united front, then there are a whole bunch of things that divide us right now and keep us apart that need to pull us together so that we can deal with what we did.
Well, that's nice. That's a good way to put it, man. When you say all means available, that takes away the whole necessary.
Right.
Because, I mean, that includes it. Right. It is necessary to use all means available.
Right. Right. And yeah, absolutely. And it is necessary. Yeah. I'm not saying it's not necessary. Like I said, we're building on the old. Right. But available because, you know, I mean, and what is available to us is this intellectual capital that you talked about, the ability for us to strategize, the ability for us to utilize technology and savvy in 2017. Because, you know.
I was, you know, John Hockett. He's, John, what's going on? I know you're going to be on here a little bit later. But he and another lady were talking about how things are lost with their generation. All this information is lost. And I said, well, it doesn't have to be. Right now, we are uniquely we're in a situation where we can record. And that's why I do so many like live things and pictures, because we can record this stuff that's going on and share it. Yeah. So there's no Alexandria library. Now information is open source.
Yeah, it's virtual. You know, even the compilation of that which is in books. It's all one little piece of micro chip right now. Yeah. That is available.
Anytime I put it on DNA now.
In perpetuity.
Yeah, in perpetuity.
Right.
Okay.
Right. In perpetuity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be around.
Yeah.
And so it gives us the ability to, as you say, understand where we are right now. What we need to do is, yes, preserve history. Yeah. Because we see what happens when we don't preserve history, and we don't understand history, when we allow others to paint images of history, you know, from their perspective, and we don't paint it from our perspective. Yeah, yeah, that's
and you know, whenever somebody comes in here, I'm always like,
man, look. I mean, we were in here about an hour ago, and what I'm discovering as I'm trying to make sure millennials, you know, these kids, they have wonderful opportunity, but I don't want them to miss out on some substance. I don't want them so material driven and trying to get to the end of the most they can until they get to the end of life, and then they think they go into the ground.
What was it all about?
Right. What did you do that for? You know, but we have to figure out a way to reach out and convey, hopefully, what we know. And those that do know, we have a responsibility because.
You say hopefully, man. You know how I feel about hope and faith. So you know how I feel about the word hope.
Man, look. What I'm saying is that hopefully, in best cases, there are people within community, people within family that have the ability to transmit and to pass down not just personal history and family history, but the history of our people and the history of culture in general, and you know, world philosophy. I mean, the ability to have a good conversation about how we got to be where we are.
That's what Carter G was talking about, man. You control a man's, if you can control a man's history, man, you control everything about it. If you didn't know, well, if you only knew that, if someone only told you, it's kind of like the boiling brain. There's a concept of, it's a theory that we all atoms are moving around in a certain way, and eventually they will all coagulate in one place. And then when all these atoms have gotten together, they don't know how they got there in the first place because there was no way to record it. So it's crazy, man. It's a crazy astrophysics thing. I was kind of reading in my off time.
That's okay. That's okay. Just
Yeah.
remember you're on live.
Yeah,
This is Facebook.
yeah, I know. Yeah, but see, y'all know I'm crazy like
Right.
that, man. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
man, come on by and meet
Yeah.
Darrin. It's
You
Darrin's
know,
Coffee
yeah,
Shop.
you know, yeah. You're gonna have a crazy conversation, man. You like,
Yeah.
whoa, what did you just say?
What's he talking about?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, all right.
So look, man. That's what's up. That we need to make sure that that we know when we talk about hope.
Yeah.
We hope that when I look at parents and grandparents right now that are trying to deposit something into the brains of kids, I guess the math and the science is bad enough because they got new math and new science. But,
Yeah.
but then if you never learned your history, then it's like with that math and science. You don't feel equipped to help your child with math and science, and if you don't know your history, then you're not equipped to help your child with their history. And I think that's a large part of what puts us where we are right
So
now.
you educated, but you miseducated because you're not
You are
educated
miseducated
properly.
because you're educated with a Eurocentric paradigm.
Okay.
You know, your lens through which you're looking at things has been given to you by a Eurocentric scholarship system that basically teaches you to quote what other people of repute have written down in books before. It doesn't challenge you to any independent intellectual thought
Your
or
challenge,
exchange.
intellectual honesty.
Right.
That's like that's been the word of the week
Yeah.
for me. Intellectual, two words.
Intellectual industry. It does not challenge that. You think about writing a paper in high school, writing a paper in college. All they really wanted you to do was to say this is what somebody else said, and you had to make sure that it's a Darrin or some other MLA, some other that you did your quotes correctly.
Yeah.
And
You
so-
cited this person. I always
But-
wonder about that. Like, okay, yeah. So, what new did you come up with?
Exactly, but that's not the point of European scholarship.
Yeah.
Right? It's a linear thing, and so just as
So it's not open source.
right, well, just as Africans don't do art just for art's sake, there's always a loftier purpose for the art that the African creates. We need to do scholarship in that way, so that we understand that when we're reading a book, we're reading a book from our center, and we're looking for Africa in all that we're reading. We're critical about it because we know that a lot of times it's not written from our perspective, and we're not seen as the subjects of that book. We're seen as the objects in the book.
How can you read something from an African perspective if you don't know what that African perspective is?
You can't. You can stumble across it, I would imagine, from time to time, and hopefully there's something way down deep on the inside of you that you know that you feel.
Just rise up like
it draws you to it. But once again, and it's more than the aesthetic. It's more than the kufi.
See, I wear a stocking hat.
Yeah, there you go. Right, it's more than the kente. That's the aesthetic, but it's an approach that says, look, I'm going to first of all use Kemet or ancient Egypt, Meroe, Aswan, to use those great civilizations. Why a great civilization? It's a great civilization, and in fact, Kemet, ancient Egypt, was the first great civilization of the world because it had the first written and spoken language. Right,
And that was emojis.
yeah. I never thought about it like that, but 7,000 years ago, they were it's Medu Neter, God's words. A lot of times in the tombs, pyramids, and someone would be buried, but you would see theological belief about an afterlife and about how to live according to Mott, a balanced life that had ethical principles that led you toward the ability to, after this life, achieve an afterlife, much like the concept of heaven here.
So where did that information then go? Was it information went from being open? Because I think something I noticed is as I go through and I read and I learn about the way a man is enslaved, people are enslaved. They're segmented, so there's no open sharing. The people are pitted against one another. So that says I got this. I'm not going to share it.
Well, and I think we talked about a Eurocentric linear approach to scholarship, but if you look at what happened when folk from Europe got over to Africa, they got to Timbuktu, great temples.
And there is a place named Timbuktu. Yes.
It's not a restaurant in Baltimore with those crab cakes that I love. There's a little bit more than that to Timbuktu. No, there's great temple, great library of Timbuktu that, once again, in antiquity stored books of knowledge, world knowledge that had been passed down before it was compiled in books. It was oral history that came down, which gives us many of the similar stories of creation, similar stories of what it means to stress like humanity. Job is a old African story.
Yeah,
okay?
That's what I live by, 121, man.
Yeah. I mean, but Job represents humanity and the oral form that came down about a story about a man that represents the human struggle, understanding that there is a greater being called God, but then there are forces of evil that God has to be our arbiter and in the midst of,
Yeah.
That's a.
And you're still happy about being alive.
Right. Because somehow God has placed within us this will that says that even though I might be in some ashes, I'm going to come out of those ashes like a phoenix.
Yeah.
And that's the resiliency of the human spirit.
That's wonderful, man. That's a wonderful thing that we're blessed with, man.
Yeah, that transcends culture. It's everywhere, and that's what I'm looking for right now. Is more stuff from ancient Egypt that I can look over in Mesoamerica and look at the Aztecs and Mayans, the Olmecs, and see some of those same tenets. Look over in
you know Bob. Oh, Bob.
Bob.
Yeah.
Man, Bob. Hey, look, we have a diverse group of
people that come in here, man.
wouldn't call them.
Well, Bob. We were talking about, I was telling him about how he was talking about Mexico City is sinking. I said, well, you know how Mexico City was built. And so you had this culture of people that they came up with a way to fill in mud. And they built, I was almost like a Venice. The children had toys that used wheels, but they didn't use wheels. It's like
They built the city.
They built the city by hand,
Right.
and never used a wheel. And it's just that's what they said. One thing that I believe that every culture has some bit of merit, but it's that intellectual honesty to say, all right, this doesn't have.
Yeah, well, dealing with these kids, right, and the creation of the Ignite Achievement Academy and making sure that there's a cultural foundation for all kids.
The Ignite Achievement Academy, what's that?
School 42, Elder Diggs.
Okay.
School 42. The Ignite Academy will be housed there.
Okay.
And it's an opportunity for brain innovation and cultural competency all to be synthesized or merged together to teach these kids of their greatness. And we're looking at greatness of antiquity, of old cultures, to try to bring everybody together, to say that, look, if you learn of your culture, if I'm here a Latino, Hispanic person that's a growing population in the city, certainly in that school, that demographic needs to be reflected in pedagogy, in design, and thought for how we
because
create
this culture had merit.
Absolutely, and so we look at Aztec, Mayan, Olmec cultures of antiquity, and what we find is very much the same principles that perhaps were carried out from the cradle of civilization, the birthplace of civilization, Maya and Africa.
Yeah.
So that it's transmitted out, and we see Africanisms or Matisms or ancient intellectual thought that we see stems out of the cradle, but it moves out throughout the entire world. So that we're looking at Mesoamerican and celebrating that. We're looking at Afro-Asiatic or Eastern. We celebrate that, and we're trying to find ties that bind. What's common about that?
Yeah, we were talking about Taoism the other day. I remember that. Yeah,
Taoism. Yeah, we're talking about that. Confucianism, Buddhism.
Yeah.
All of that because I want to be able to look at the notion of good.
And y'all, sorry about that, but what's so significant about that is that's showing intellectual honesty. He's a minister, and to be able to look and to see that there were merits. What's the common thread that I mean, that to me, that's intellectual honesty, because I see people that call themselves that and call themselves Christian and want to throw out to say, hey, this had no merit. This had no, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but Jesus said, "You shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free."
Yup.
And Parliament put it another way:
Tear the roof off the mother.
No, free your mind. That's what I'm talking. We need to free our minds.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Right.
You went to Morehouse.
I did go to Morehouse.
Okay.
I came out in '91.
Okay.
President of my class. Wonderful Red Clay Hill experience down there in the heat of Atlanta, hot Atlanta.
Yeah.
In a different era.
Yeah. See, I went to and we came from the era where it was everybody was going back to the HBCUs. I went to Grambling.
Yeah.
So we come from a whole different era of when it was the conscious hip hop movement, and it really got back to us really learning about that, and then that caused a great migration, and I think that a lot of us went there and that is something that really I can appreciate from the Black college experience.
Man, look, I got down to Morehouse my freshman year. I was in room 206, Quarles Court.
You playing, man? I was in room 206.
You were in room 206 freshman year?
Pinchback Hall, man, in Grambling.
Did y'all have air conditioning?
Yes, we did.
We didn't have air conditioning.
But we rioted when they cut your air conditioning off.
Man, we rioted too. Y'all rioted your freshman year.
Yeah,
I know
man.
what's going on. See that?
You know what I'm saying? We all share
were
common
revolutionaries,
thread.
man.
Yeah, we was waiting on
now,
something.
We didn't
to
know what to riot for. We
just knew something.
Morehouse went down and fought Clark. But
Grandma, we was in the middle of nowhere, so we went out and just fought the tree.
Fought the cornfield. Fought the tobacco leaves.
There you go, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, going to attack the Tabasco company down there in Louisiana.
Right
That's
on.
what I'm talking about.
There you go, McKinley,
But
whatever.
man, look, I set up in 206, man, and there's a cat during the Civil Rights Movement. His name was Willie Ricks. Mm-hmm. His name was Mukasa. Mukasa was revolutionary, on the campus when we got down there. Mm-hmm. And he would be in the lunch line. He would be talking like brothers, Mukasa. And, folk would, scratch their heads a little bit, but then you start listening to Mukasa. Mukasa was making a whole bunch of sense. And
Erica was like Erica Badu, man. Yeah.
So Mukasa, we started having revolution classes freshman year, and and Stokely Carmichael showed up.
Wow.
In room 206 at Corals Court, my room freshman year with about 10 brothers. While we sitting around.
And you wasn't scared, man? Somebody's gonna put a kick on?
Having a revolution class with
Stokely
Carmichael.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. Wow, man. That's open source information, man.
Yeah. So, man, but look, how information goes. Look, you had to go back to George James and the Stolen Legacy and what he writes in that book, because Timbuktu, folk came from Europe, and what was freely given, scholarship in a communal society, what we have is free. You may have it. I want to bless you with this. And that's when you come from a land of plenty. I got plenty of everything. I got plenty of water.
And that's why I'm a that's why I'm a Trekkie, man.
Yeah.
It's like that, man.
Right.
We have plenty. We'll share with you.
Right. So if you come to the land and there are foreigners or aliens that come, they're greeted as angels, because you never know who you're dealing with. They're guests. And so when they come, that what you have, if they show interest, then you freely give. What a freely giving society did not expect was that all of that knowledge that was looted then out of the libraries of Timbuktu and taken back to Europe, the covers would be replaced, and the greatest plagiarism escapade takes place where Plato has now, according to European history, produced more written literature than humanly possible.
So going back, that's like Malachi Z. York. He wrote up 130 books, man. But anyway, but that spirit, that's what you get here. Is you come in here.
You ain't have no computer. Plato was just back there doing it. All Plato did. Let me hurry.
That's the spirit you get here. When you come in here, because I don't know who you are, I treat everybody. We make sure they treat everybody the same. Right. And that's with welcome and open arms, man. And y'all help this, man.
There we go. We went someplace. We forgot to. Yes. This
You know what I'm
this is the best coffee shop, and there are no parameters to that.
Yeah.
There are no. It's just the best coffee shop, and it was voted
Yeah.
the best coffee shop in
Yeah, man.
2017.
In 2016. Uh-oh. So you see that right there? The
Uh-oh.
alert. That's from Mrs. D. That means y'all go see me and Mrs. D on shortly, man. She's gonna have a little jam this weekend. So y'all need to come check it out. So
We gonna be here
yeah, man.
having a jam
Yeah, man.
with Sister D.
Might play some Parliament.
Uh-oh.
Tear the roof off the mother. All right, we got it. Or no, I'm not even gonna do that one, man, because I know bros come out from everywhere.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Atomic. All right, y'all. Peace out. Thank you so much.
You can